Hello, Uncle B here. I want you to know something, a secret about me, something that I do not take pleasure in revealing. I'm a fraud. Yep, that's hard to admit. I'm a fraud, but sometimes I feel like it. I've been talking about mental toughness. I've been talking about resilience. Been talking about discipline, and yet I realize what I'm talking about, I fall so short in myself. Sometimes I don't keep in shape. Sometimes I do not work out the way I should. Sometimes I do not think or do the things I should. My ego and pride get in the way. I get down and I get depressed about my situation in life. I'm a fraud. Plain and simple. The things I speak about are things, obviously, that are pretty lofty. They're higher than what any one of us can really attain to. Even the greatest of athletes, the most disciplined in the world, will admit that they have failings. They're weak sometimes and they fail sometimes. They are not as disciplined as they ought to be. It's difficult. Life is hard. Life catches up with you. You have a lot of responsibilities. Sometimes you don't want to face those responsibilities. Sometimes you don't want to live up to the things you need to do. We all get bad attitudes sometimes. We all think the wrong thoughts. And often we say or do the wrong things. And even though we're not habitually abusive, sometimes we can do and say things that are harsh and can be conceived as abusive to people with whom we have a relationship. It can be a parent and child, it can be just a friend, but especially also in a marriage. I want you to know that I, myself, never said that I was perfect in all these things. It's important to know that even the best of us have failings, and I certainly am not one of the best. The thing to remember is that we have to pick ourselves up after we fall, brush ourselves off, and keep on going. We're going to stumble. We're going to fall. We're going to make mistakes. We are going to sin. We are going to hurt others, even though we may not want to, and even though we will deeply regret that we have hurt others. And yes, even in some way been abusive. But we got to keep on continuing on. And we have to be good examples. One of those good examples is to forgive, to give forgiveness, because that's how we would want to be treated. To have mercy and understanding. To have mercy and understanding of the other person. We would hope, of course, that there would be mercy and understanding for us. We're human, we make mistakes, like everyone else. We're no different than anyone else. But sometimes it's just not in that person to forgive, or to have mercy, or to be kind and understanding. But that's no excuse for us to not be kind and understanding, loving, merciful, gracious. And there's also no excuse to blame others for what we are responsible for. We have to take ownership for the things that we've done and take ownership for our lives going forward. But I am a fraud. I do not keep in shape. I do not have the mental, physical, or spiritual discipline that I ought. But I'm going to keep on trying. And that's all any of us can really do. Keep on trying to be the best version of ourselves. For some of us, it may take counseling and psychiatric evaluation, maybe even psychiatric treatment. It may take a lot of prayer, turning to God where we have been wayward. It may take a lot of soul searching, but in the end, if we apply ourselves, knowing, having a good balance of knowledge that yes, we will fail again, we will stumble again, we will fall again, but hopefully we will fall less far. We will stumble not as much. And we will pick ourselves back up with God's help, dust ourselves off, and get on the path. We're all in the same boat. This speaks very well to the illustration of life as a battle. We are at war. We are at war with a lot of things, but especially with ourselves. And I'm not talking in a spiritual sense, although that is true too. We have a nature that is corrupt, and we have to fight against that sinfulness, that selfishness, that pride, that arrogance. But what I mean is, we're at war against the whole of our being that is flawed. And we have to constantly fight. And sometimes we do not fight the way we should, and sometimes we do fail. So although, in a certain sense, I can't even live up to what I talk about on these videos like I should, and I don't want you to have any illusion that I do, but in a certain sense, we have to set the bar high. In fact, we have to set the bar higher than what we can attain and achieve, so that we constantly are reaching for that goal and striving to become better, to be more resilient, to be more emotionally and physically and mentally in control, to have discipline, to get into shape, to get to bed on time, to trust God more, to treat others with love, dignity, and respect. Everyone deserves respect. And I can speak from experience that just because I do not receive respect sometimes, and from some people who ought to give me respect, that does not give me the right to do those things to others, or do those things back in retaliation. And that takes a lot of discipline. And that's why I say, I recognize that I fail. And as a result, I have to say, I am a fraud. Especially if you believe that the things that I've been putting out are things I got down. Because I don't have them down. No one really has them down. Some have them down more than others. But we're all fighting a battle and a war within ourselves that no one else can know and see at any given time. We all have demons to fight. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is exemplified in Jesus Christ himself when he says, turn the other cheek. Bless them that curse you. Love your enemies. So for cursing, give blessing. For hate, give love. For impatience, be patient. Have understanding. Have compassion. For not being forgiven, make sure that you're ready to forgive and be a good example to that person that refuses to forgive. So I'm a fraud, and so are you. We're so connected, we're disconnected. We're stuck in our devices with our Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. And we're promoting ourselves as having this great life. But it's all fraud. It is. No one sees the hurt, the pain, the hardships. No one sees that you got to get up, crawl out of bed in the morning, and you look like a train wreck. No one sees that your relationship with your parent or your child, with your brother or sister, with your spouse, is gone to shit. So just remember that too. Everybody else is living a fraud. They're putting on a face. So there's no need to be embarrassed that you can't live up to some standards. And there's no reason why you can't strive to live up to those standards and be more determined to do so. Please subscribe. click that top secret icon in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Like this video if you like it, share it with your friends, and until next time, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God.